Warriors fans, this is what desperation looks like. Steph Curry is 38 years old. Jimmy Butler is rehabbing a torn ACL and might not be right until January. Draymond Green just declined his player option and re-signed on a new deal, buying the front office the last inch of flexibility they were ever going to have. The championship window on this dynasty is not closing. It is being slammed shut from the outside by Father Time himself. And this morning on First Take, Shams Charania dropped a report that has put every single Dub Nation grandmother on defibrillator alert. Anthony Davis is coming to the Bay. Anthony Davis, the Brow, 10-time All-Star, former Defensive Player of the Year finalist. And before you go anywhere, before you close this video, before you assume this is Warriors clickbait, I'm telling you right now, by the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you the one specific move the Warriors already made this offseason that proves they've been planning this call for over a month. So stay with me, because the smoking gun is at the end, and if you leave early, you're gonna miss the part that changes how you see this entire summer. Here's how it landed. Molly Karam's running First Take. Stephen A is already agitated. Shannon Sharp is grinning. And they cut to Shams for the top of the show hit. And Shams has that look. He says he's been on the phone all morning. And what he's hearing is that the Golden State Warriors have escalated their pursuit. And those are his exact words. Escalated their pursuit as of Anthony Davis. And that a framework is now on the table between the Warriors and the Washington Wizards. And then, this is the moment. He says it. I am comfortable putting my name on this. That's the phrase. Comfortable putting my name on it. When Shams Charania in July on First Take uses that language, he is not throwing a dart. He is telling you the report is standing on its own 2 feet. Now, I know exactly what's happening in your head. Because just 6 days ago, you were reading the same headline I was reading, the one where Rich Paul went on the Game Over podcast with Max Kellerman and said in his coolest, calmest voice that Anthony Davis is going to start the season with the Washington Wizards. He said it. Public, on the record. And now you're going, wait, so which is it? Is Paul lying? Is Shams wrong? Neither. Welcome to How Leverage Works. Rich Paul was doing exactly what an agent does, protecting his client, keeping the market moving, driving the price, and now, apparently, the price has been met. That's what happens when the leverage produces a real offer from a real team. And that real team, it turns out, is a franchise that has been sniffing around AD for months. Stay with me. This is gonna make more sense the further we go. Let's investigate. 3 reasons. And reason 3 is the smoking gun, so we're building right to it. Do not click off. Reason number 1, Curry needs a partner and Butler cannot be that partner right now. Read those 2 sentences again. Steph Curry is 38, and while I will say to my dying breath that he can still drop 40 on any given Tuesday, the empirical evidence of last season is that when Curry did not have help, the Warriors sank. They sank 37 and 45, lost the play-in game to the Suns. Watch the playoffs on television, and the reason help is a problem is that Jimmy Butler, the man they mortgaged the future to acquire at the deadline, is coming off a torn ACL in his right knee. That is a long, hard road, and even if he comes back in January, he is not going to be the Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat playoff runs from day one. He's going to be a version of Jimmy Butler working his way back. So who plays the second star role while Butler rehabs? Who plays the second star role, period? Anthony Davis when he is right. And I stress when he is right, is that guy. 20 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, elite rim protection, a switchable defender who lets Draymond do Draymond things. That is a superstar walking into the door of a team that desperately needs one. Reason number 2, the defense. And this one is a Draymond Green love letter. The Warriors, for the entirety of the Dynasty era, have been a switch-everything defensive team. Draymond at the 5 in small ball. Draymond guarding centers. Draymond doing 8 things at once. But Draymond is 36. And in the playoffs, when the physicality ratchets up and the whistles disappear, he cannot do it alone anymore. Anthony Davis next to Draymond Green is a nightmare for opposing offenses. AD guards the rim, protects Draymond from having to bang with monsters like Jokic in the paint, and gives the Warriors a genuine 7-foot deterrent for the first time in almost a decade. That right there is the defensive identity that made this franchise championship caliber. That is a return to what worked. That is not nostalgia, that is scheme. This is a fit that has an actual X's and O's case behind it, not just a let's get a star case. Steve Kerr, who by the way re-signed on a new 2-year deal, has spent his entire career winning with elite defense. AD is the plug-and-play piece for the version of that defense Kerr wants to run one last time. And before reason 3, because reason 3 is where I unload the smoking gun, talk to me in the comments. Warriors fans, straight up, is AD next to Curry the last chance Hail Mary you've been dreaming of, or does the injury history scare you off with what's left of this window? Because I think Dub Nation is going to be honestly, genuinely torn on this, and I want to read the arguments in the section below. Go! Reason number 3. The smoking gun, and here it is, the thing I promised you. Look at what the Warriors have already done this summer, before this report even leaked. Draymond Green declined his $27.7 million player option. Why? Why would he do that? Because the front office asked him to. That's why. They asked him to opt out and re-up on a different structure, a longer, more spread out deal that opened up specific dollars of flexibility on the cap sheet. And what is the exact number that Draymond's opt-out cleared? What is the exact amount of breathing room it created? Just enough to make trade math work if the Warriors sent salary out for a max-level star. Stop. Read that back. Draymond Green does not opt out for fun. He does not opt out because his agent is bored. He opts out because the front office has a plan, and the plan requires the number to move. And what has the front office been publicly openly linked to for months? First LeBron James and Mark J. Spears literally said Golden State feels like the underdog in the LeBron chase. And the plan B behind LeBron all summer has been Anthony Davis. That is not a coincidence. That is a chess game. Draymond opts out, cap space opens, star target enters. That is the sequence of a front office that has known exactly what it was doing since June. And now Shams is reporting the star target is in play. Do you see it? Do you see the plan? It has been sitting right in front of us the whole time. Now, the skeptic, and Stephen A was there, and Stephen A was furious. He's going, you're going to give up your last young player and picks you don't have for a 32-year-old center with a torn calendar. Steph is 38, Butler is hurt. You want to run this out there and call it a contender? Give me a break. And listen, that is a real point. That is the honest, real objection. AD has missed a lot of basketball. Curry is 38. Butler is coming back from a knee. This is a team of guys taking care of their bodies more carefully than most humans on planet Earth. Health is not a given, but here is my rebuttal, and here is why the front office is willing to swing anyway. What is the alternative? Really, what is it? Standing pat with a 38-year-old Steph, a rehabbing Butler, an aging Draymond, and Moses Moody, and hoping for a play-in miracle. Missed the playoffs again, watch the summer bleed out with no plan. Every superstar available this offseason has already been moved somewhere else. Giannis, Kawhi, Ja, LaMelo, all gone to other buildings. AD is the last megastar with any chance of walking through the door. And when the alternative to the risky swing is a quiet death, you take the swing every time. Stephen A is calculating the downside. The Warriors are calculating the impossibility of doing nothing. Two different math problems. And here's the funny part, the delicious part, and this is why I love the NBA. Do you know who the last time Anthony Davis and Steph Curry shared a court in a meaningful game was? 2019. All-Star Game. Casual. Do you know what Warriors fans have spent years imagining? What if we had a real, prime, elite big next to Steph and Draymond? It's been the if-only conversation of the entire post-KD era, and now the if-only is walking in the door as a plan B behind LeBron. That is peak NBA. You spend 7 years dreaming of a big man, and you almost accidentally get one because your first option was busy talking to the Cavaliers. Try not to smile. But the nightmare exists too, and I have to be straight with you. There is a version where AD's knees say no by February, where Butler's ACL comes back at 70%, where Curry at 38 cannot cover for everybody, and the season ends with a first-round exit and everybody wondering what could have been. That is the coin flip on this. Genius on one side, what were you thinking on the other? But the alternative, I keep coming back to it, and is standing still while Father Time laughs at you, and that is not who this franchise has ever been. Kerr, Curry, Green, Dunleavy, none of these people got to where they are by playing scared. If it goes wrong, at least it went wrong swinging. So let me bring it all home. Anthony Davis to the Warriors makes sense because Curry is 38 and needs a real second star while Butler heals. It makes sense because AD next to Draymond gives Kerr the defensive identity back. It makes sense because the front office has been publicly setting up this exact call with Draymond's opt-out and the LeBron pursuit and every other move of the summer. And Shams putting his name on it is the receipt. That's the case. Now here's what I'm watching next, and this is the next video, so smash subscribe because you will not want to miss it. If AD lands, the next question is what it costs. Which young warrior, which contract, which piece of the future goes the other way to make it happen? Because Mike Dunleavy Jr. is not going to give up the world, but he might give up more than you think if this is the last true shot at a championship next to Steph. And I've got a read on the exact price tag that I think is going to make Dub Nation stand up. But that's for next time. For now, hit the like, drop your take in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Dub Nation, the last star on the market might be picking up the phone. Wild days.